So lab 3.3 is a practice and a visualization practice on scatter plot and regression analysis. Scatter plot scatter plot is like a plot the observation of your data points on the axis, especially when we have two interested variables. Like we have like a dependent variable and a independent variable. And the data we are having here is we have advertisement expense for different months. I think that's for 2025. And then revenues, we like the monthly revenues. So we are trying to identify, is there an association between the investment on the advertisement expense and your sales revenue? Right? So in another word, are they positively related to each other? Okay. So if the advertisement expense can increase the revenue, okay, in a proportional relationship, right? Because that's like normally we understand, right? So when we increase the advertisements, we are hoping the revenue will go up. That's normally the case, but how much the revenue will react for your increased advertisement expense is a significant change or insignificant, right? So we can make future decisions how we want to input on the advertisement expense. So you are trying using the scatter plot to see their regression, or like their trend, the association between this group of data. For doing the scatter plot, okay, I think the easiest way, because here I'm doing a pair of data, right? So a pair of the variables, so we need to highlight. So starting from row 1, okay, the data, the two columns of data in the same time. So highlight them and drag down to the bottom. We have 3 years of data. You can see 25, 26, and 27. So monthly data, so 36 months. So go back to the, so make sure you highlight all of them, then insert. And if you want to go from here, I believe you have something, but click on insert a chart. They already have some recommended, okay, but let's click on the all charts. And this is the scatter plot, X, Y. Okay, X, Y means X is normally your independent variable and Y is your dependent. In our X will be the advertisement expense, Y will be the sales revenue. Okay, let's click on this one. And the second, this one, okay, and click OK. And I think now you can do this. And the book, the instruction want us to use a quick layout. I believe they are talking about the third one. So you have different layout options, and they are trying. They ask you to pick the third one because if you see the third one, they already simulate a line like this is the best line to fit all of the data. So we are trying to see their correlations, right? So this is a simulation of a straight line, like linear, showing the linear relationship. When you draw this on a paper, like a manual paper, you can visualize, you can draw this line by yourself, like handwriting. But when you draw this line, you make sure the data are equally distributed up and down, okay, above and below the line you are trying to draw. So you can see this line is kind of really, make sure all of the data type or the dots distributed evenly up and then below the lines, okay, rather than, so for example, let me just do, okay. If I draw a line like this, it wouldn't be appropriate, right? Because you can see this apparently doesn't really show the relationship of the data or something like this. So apparently this dotted is better than the one I drew. Okay, so computer, when they try to simulate the line, they are trying to minimize the standard deviation. Okay, so I'm just going back and going back. So this is a scattered plot. Okay, I need to exit drawing mode. So you can make your assessment. Okay, like is this a linear or the correlation? Okay, I think they have some correlation, but not very high. Okay, not very high. Because really, if you have very high, the data, like the data points or the dots should be more closer, so more centered around the line rather than scattered. Okay, right now it's kind of scattered. So if you have a high correlation, the data points should be more close to the line. Okay, that's a better fit. So this is the first assignment, or like first assessment about we call like the fit, okay, like the data. So the correlation of the and this one give you they call linear, okay, like just a kind of like a pre-assessment about their linear relationship. And then we will do a formal regression analysis, okay, use the statistic numbers to indicate the strong or weak linear relationship between these two columns of data. Okay, how strong these two columns or how strong the advertisement expense determines the sales revenue. We need to use concrete numbers, okay, rather than just this visual observation of the dots. For the regression, so I make sure I believe I highlight with the groups of data again. Oh, okay, here it doesn't matter, right? But I'm going back to the home and then data, and you need to have this data analysis. So I remember I mentioned in the last product, right? So if you haven't opened or not really download, like this is the option from the Excel. If you don't see the data analysis on, under the data tab, so it's like option to like present in the menu. So you need to go from the file options, the add-ins, then highlight the analysis tool pack, Excel add-in, and go and check the analysis tool pack. So you because I already checked, okay, but if you haven't checked it, so check it and click on OK. You should be able to see this add-in displaying here. So click on the data analysis. We have different analysis tools. And last time I remember is the book demo. Okay, we did a histogram for the Z-score, right? Like, so when we make a prediction for the bankruptcy cases. But this time I'm using the, you can see different statistical package or tools available here. And this one I'm going to use the regression. So click on OK. And regression is asking me to input the range. You probably see I already have some numbers here because I already did this, this morning, right? So, but if you have empty, so if you open that new, like Excel, you have empty, but that's the way you select your data range. So first I need to pick up my Y. Remember, the Y is your dependent variable. In our case, it's the revenue is your dependent. And the X is your independent, which is advertisement. Okay, that's your explain. So you can, if you don't see anything here, okay, click on the arrows. So that means you ask you to select the data. Okay, so I'm doing one more time. Okay, select from D1 to D37. Okay, include the title. Okay, go back and then select the X. Okay, will be C. Here. And make sure you check the labels and ask is appear in a new workbook or worksheet. Okay, like I think that's all output range. So again, make sure select, okay, the critical is your Y data range, okay, and X data range. So Y is your dependent variable and X is the independent. And the confidence level and constant, I think that's about it. And you can click on OK. Then the result of the regression will appear in a separate worksheet. Okay, and this is the output. And in the book is explained, so how we can interpret the overall the result. First, you are looking for this significant F. Okay, F means there are some relationship, okay, like correlation between the two variables. Okay, this one is very small, significant F is almost 0. And then, but how strong the relationship between these two variables we use. So first you check this. And second, the R square indicate how strong the two variables are related to each other. In another way, how strong the advertisement expense will boost our revenue. Right? So you can see it's not very high. So you can interpret it, for like 30, 29%. So think about is if you put $100 on the advertisement, probably it's like can increase your revenue by $30. But this is not exactly, but I'm just saying this percentage is kind of low. Okay, so it's not a strong relationship. Okay, so not strong relationship between the advertisement and the revenue. So don't expect the advertisement revenue will bring the advertisement expense will boost your revenue a lot. Okay, they have some association, as we always expected, but it's not that strong, okay, relationship. And it also tells you this, if you this is because we only have one variable, right? So if you remember, this is how you can explain. This is something. So a straight linear relationship. Okay, Y is your sales revenue and X is the advertisement. And the coefficient, okay, this one, the coefficient tells you how the formula, okay, for my relationship. So my y will be equals to I'm just using the integers. Okay, so and this one is so my linear regression, the equation, okay, my equation will be, okay, this is the equation by plugging the coefficient of the intercept and the coefficient for the advertisement expense, okay, and X. So that you can see, Y is your sales revenue again, and X is the advertisement expense. And all of these T statistics, okay, means they are significant, related, okay, positive. So advertisement expense is significantly related to the change of your sales revenue, but only the table, like what I say, the model is not that significantly strong. Okay, certainly we know the sales revenue has some other reasons, or in addition to your investment on the advertisement expense, right? So it's probably related to your market shares and also the income level of the consumers. There are lots of other factors related to the sales revenue. But it's just letting you know, the statistical available, and we can, if you have more than one independent variables, we can make a multivariate analysis. Okay, rather than just one X. Okay, we can have different axes. Okay, like we can have several independent variables. So I think this one is the lab 2. The lab, I think is 3, but this is the second question, because in the assignment, I didn't really ask the Tableau or Power BI, just focus on the 4 Excel questions. Okay, this is the second. So we have lab 3.1, 3.3, 3.4, and 3.7. Okay, that's the second one. I will stop here, and then I will finish the other 2 demos tomorrow, and so you all see it will be added to the YouTube. Okay, so you can watch it, and you know, when you do the practice.